order. They told him, we may have to shut national parks and lay half of you off. And everybody got real scared for a year, and the Department of the Interior came out and said, oh, it's all right. It's all right. We'll just start writing a bunch of tickets and change the way we do things, and you've got a revenue generate, and we're going to stay open. And we're going to hire a bunch more people. And we're going to take property nearby, and we're going to sell part of our property. How's that sound? It's the same thing they call the cops in. Well, there's a shortfall. You better get out there and write some tickets. Here's your quota. All of it goes into the comprehensive annual financial report, 76% on average. Water districts, city districts. We did a big report on this. California is totally flush with money. But it's all been invested, not in pensions, but in globalist Ponzi schemes. It's all there. The numbers I was seeing last night, Aaron Dykes had an expert on going over the it's public numbers, but it's just not discussed. The California CAFR, Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, and it was more than 10 times their supposed debts. And what they're in the hole is just sitting there. But see, they only talk about the budget. The budget. When we first discovered this and covered it with Walter Burien back in the mid-90s, 1996 or so, it was only in the 60s. 60+% depending on the state and all of its agencies, the counties, its agencies, the cities. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the permanent political ruling class coupled with the 6 megabanks. And they take, back then, 60+%. Now it's over 76% last time we checked. 76% of all the tax money goes directly into private accounts. And you know who started this? The Dailies and the mafia before them in Chicago in the 30s and 40s. It's called the Chicago 1313, and the banks and the Chicago Business School. That's all the Rockefellers were. They were mafia too. They ran most of the liquor. Go look at the history up in Hot Springs, Arkansas, where they stayed and did things. It's on record there. It's not debatable. They use U.S. government train cars to ship the liquor everywhere, producing it right there in, I tell you, it's unbelievable. The U.S. government is nothing but an organized crime shell for these interests. That's why Wayne LaPierre has come out. This is in the Washington Post. Publication foreignpolicy.com, and said, yeah, no, we think Fast and Furious goes deeper into government drug dealing and stuff. Of course it does. Of course it does. That's in the federal courts it came out. And see, this corruption's so out in the open now, they've got to shut everything down. They've got to start shutting freedom of the press down. They've got to start going after everything because they've gone so far. That's the thing about tyranny. The floor drops out. At a certain point, so many corrupt people are in, nobody in the system can say no to the other corrupt people. And so it's a free-for-all. And it's just they rob everything till it collapses. And the big banks have even created a stratagem off of old tyrannical systems that weren't controlled to control the black hole effect that this tyranny is going to create. And listen, you've got hope with Romney? Okay. Go in a room without oxygen and just hold your breath and hope. You know, that a Keebler elf's going to appear and give you some air. Again, Romney didn't write Obamacare. The people that controlled him, the big banks, did. Obama didn't write it. They were given it. The different special interests got together in hundreds of meetings after that and haggled it out. And it's admitted. Hey, what about this? Elena Kagan, must come out of the same cloning tank that all these other weird creatures that engage in evil, Janet Reno, Big Sis, Napolitano, Sotomayor. I mean, who are these people? It's the joke dirtbag criminals that they put in there who will rule anything. Supreme Court ruled black people weren't humans. They wanted to build the court up in this little game where Obama says the court doesn't matter. Oh, how dare you, Obama? We hate you. Better do what the court says. Also, when it did this, he'd say, see, it was all a setup. It's all coordinated. At that level, it's totally coordinated. And now, 1/7 of what was left of the economy. Half the economy, one way or the other, is dependent on government. Half. Now you give it 1/7 more. That's, well, do the math. Do the math. I mean, if already 3.5/7 were government, and now one more of those 3.5 are left, but that other 3.5 now, I don't know, 65% government. I mean, wow, that's really good. Oh, yeah, land of the free, home of the brave. Oh, there's a drone. Oh, there's cop cars on every corner, but government's bankrupt. Oh, write some more tickets, write some more tickets, write some more tickets. Pull over some more, guy driving a dump truck can barely pay his bills. Oh, but it gets better. They're proud of it. I pulled up Politico. I pulled up the Associated Press. I pulled them all up. Look at this up. Politico. Headline, Rubio, IRS to come after uninsured. And that's in the legislation. That the IRS is going to enforce it and is the enforcement mechanism. And that's what they say. They say it's a tax administered by the IRS. You show the proof of where you bought it and that it's authorized by them. The IRS is now in charge of your health care. The collection agency for the private bankers, they're the government. That's who we pay the taxes to. Or the IRS is going to charge you penalties and interest. Oh, that's going to help the dump truck driver where I drive to work every day and watch 3 to 7 City of Austin truck police pulling over even brand new trucks and harassing them and opening the engine and white glove inspecting them. I wish you'd white glove inspect the criminal government. Oh, but you can't do that. And the narcotics trafficking and the gun trafficking, and you're told, hey, go do this or your job's gone. Okay, so you pull over the dump truck driver, you find dirt on the bumper, anything, give them giant $500,000 tickets. They get too many of those, they lose their job. And then when they lose their job and can't get health care, they go on welfare. Oh, and now you got to take shots, though, since you're on the welfare. I mean, it is such, they want to bankrupt us. So there's nothing we can do but be under their horrible, wicked control. And people are trying to flee to the countryside, and now they've created the Rural Affairs Council run by the Department of Defense. And they've got plainclothes military all over the country now, training for war with our rural people, hanging on by their fingernails. I mean, this is a total savage banker raping from one end to the other of our country, and I'm sick of it. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of articles all over the mainstream whore media criticizing me as a conspiracy theorist because I actually do original, real research. Let's go ahead and play a clip right here of CNBC. And under it, we have over 25, 30 plus articles of mainstream news saying, oh, world government's here. Yeah, it's authoritarian. It's tyrannical. It knows best. It's unelected. It's got giant armored brigades waiting if you don't like it. Criminal bankers who openly fund eugenics and talk about how they're stealing the planet and how they're going to kill you when they're done. Once they've stolen everything and got everybody locked down, they're going to release bioweapons and kill us. They brag about it. I had that woman who worked for Goldman Sachs who made this incredible film on yesterday. The Greater Goods, what it's called. She goes, oh, I know. I didn't put that in the film, but yeah, I had the big $7 billion a year company in my office, and he said, we're going to kill a bunch of people, and laughed about it. And so she went and investigated, and I was like, how did you find out about vaccines? Oh, the big banker, head of the big pharma company came and said, we're going to kill a bunch of people, and make money off of it. And I went and looked her up. I had no idea she was this big high-powered Goldman Sachs, top-level director in multiple countries. Yeah, Leslie Manookian. That's how you wake up. They talk about how they want to murder us. That's why. That's who they are. That's what they do. They created Hitler. They created Lenin. They created Stalin. They put Mao in power. They created Al-Qaeda. And they're not going to stop. Do you understand that? They're not going to stop. That's why it's all over Time Magazine, Newsweek. Unplug Granny, Case for Killing Granny, How to Die, Old People Are Gross and Stink, Kill them. Oh, my parents, I killed them. It's so wonderful. It's so nice. Oh, don't give people surgeries. Oh, yeah. This is them. This is who they are. They're monsters. And it's all fake. You tune into NPR, all Rockefeller, Annenberg, CPB, New World Order, Ford Foundation funded. Listen to who funds it, along with your tax money as usual. And you listen to it, and it's all just, oh, it's so loving for the children. Oh, it's so good. Oh, yeah. But then all of a sudden, I was listening to the head of Newsweek, the editor. She was on there. She was talking about Breitbart, but she goes, he dropped dead. And she went back into, I actually played the clip of that on the air. She's like, oh, it's so liberal. When we had real journalists like William Scher. But then Breitbart dropped dead. You just, that's who they really are. Drop dead. We're savage. We're taking over. We rule you. That's who they really are. But up front, it's like, I'm non-threatening. I'm Warren Buffett, who's a known eugenicist. And, Melinda Gates is having big forced abortion conferences right now. But wait, every photograph of Warren Buffett, he's got an ice cream cone. I'm non-threatening. I'm the NPR voice. Oh, hi, it's real soft. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, Little Red Riding Hood. Never mind the big werewolf. We're real friendly. Drop dead. Oh, back to the report. That's why he dropped dead. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get back into my little... That was a little tell to her friends about... We're in control. But, we're liberal. Don't run. We're your friends. Listen to all the voices of these fake effeminate guys. That's not how these guys really act, folks. Let me tell you, you want to find the real vicious people? Go find the elitist country club or the fencing club. Go start a fight with one of those guys who's walking around all liberal. I'm friendly. That person will take your head and bash your brains out in about 5 seconds. That's why they're in control. That's the whole gentleman act that you people don't seem to get, is to act weak and pathetic when you're a big, sick predator. Now, let's go ahead. Watch this right now. Go ahead and watch this. This is what they think of you, and they want you to know now. And this is who runs your health care, and this is who the Supreme Court says you pay your taxes to. And they now run your health care. You don't just pay them. They decide what goes in your body because they want you deader than a hammer. But slowly, 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 birth defects, neurological disorders. Here it is. Here it is.
Mostly what they do is hold summits.
I think that right now the question is, do we all work for central bankers? That's what I want to address to our guest tonight. Is this global governance at last? Is it one world, the central bankers in charge? Jim Urio, you say we've got some downside here, a correction in the markets. Fine. But aren't we all just living and dying for what the central banks do? Aren't we all just counting on the fact that there's a Bernanke put and that we won't go any lower than, say, 5% down from here?
Of course we are, because if we look at the economic data, there's nothing to get excited about in that. So yesterday we saw some reluctance for the Bernanke Fed to expand their balance sheets and pump more money in. But the stock market knows that reluctance is totally different than not willing to do it at all. And that's why we saw oil implode and gold trade off heavily, because they're not a protected class. If the stock market starts trading off in the 10 to 15 to 20% area, the chairman's going to come in and throw some stimulus at it. So to answer your question, we are absolutely slaves to central banks, because we'd love to be slaves of the economy, but the economic numbers continue to do nothing but trend lower.
Mr. LeCamp, do we work for the central bankers?
We know that.
Mr. LeCamp,
we do. This is
let's stop right there. And they all agree we work for the foreign bankers. And we had a guest even lined up now with Olympic false flag whistleblowing. I apologize. I've gotten in such a controlled or uncontrolled rage that I canceled one guest, forgot I had the other guest. He's going to come up with that in about 30 minutes. Just your calls coming up. For a long time, you've heard me talk about Bill. We've got a video where the head anti-terrorism researcher commander of a major city in England did discover that 7/7 was, in fact, an inside job. We've had him on before via audio a year or so ago. He did get fired over it. And he had a court case over it. There's an interview up at Infowars.com with that gentleman. I'm going to cover it later. That Patrick Henderson did in England, dealing with it. 7/7 whistleblower fired. I mean, we know how they blew the train up, the trains, the bus, how they set the people up, thinking it was part of a drill. We know about the drills, the exact targets. I mean, we have them. We know they used, Rashid Aswat, the MI6 officer,